Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to explain to you is when you get your CD, you'll need to download your designs on your USB stick. And also, you'll need to print off a copy of your instructions. And I believe it's like 42 pages. It's a lot of instructions. Okay. What I'm going to explain to you today is about how you quilt your background fabric. And if you have any questions, please stop me. Um, when you print off your instructions, the first block you'll see is going to be 6.5 by 10.5. And how you find out how the size of your background quilting is you need to go to the website mykimberbell.com. When you go to mykimberbell.com, you'll see the quilting patterns, and they have a whole lot of quilting patterns. The one that they chose to do this pillow, the Main Street Celebration pillow, is using the one called Celebration. Now, you can use that if you'd like, but it is very busy. They have a whole lot of other patterns, and today I'm going to show you one that I had already purchased that I'm going to be using, and it's just a plain ripple. Because when I saw the Celebration, I don't know, to me it was way too busy. But you will be quilting it with the thread that matches your background fabric, so it won't show up as, that much. So it's completely up to you what you want to do. Okay, but when you download your quilting instructions, they will also give you instructions with the size of the blocks. So when you look at your pattern and you see that you have to cut a 6.5 by 10.5 piece of fabric, you'll just come right over and it says you'll need a 5 by 9 piece of batting, and it also tell you that it will finish at 4 by 8. So when you're looking at your patterns, each pattern comes with like maybe 14 different sizes. So when you look at this, you're going to want to be using the 4 by 8 quilting background pattern. Is everybody following that? If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, so I've already downloaded my quilting pattern, and I'm going to take you over to my screen. And on my USB stick, I have my quilting pattern and my first block. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Stellaire today. Okay, and the first thing I want to do, you want to load your background quilting. And if you can see on the screen, I have a whole, this was like one pattern, and it gives me a whole lot of options. But I want to find the one that says 4 by 8. And here's my 4 by 8. Okay, now you can see that's going to be the background quilting. But I'm going to set that, and I'm going to add. And now I'm going to go in and add my first block.
I lost
Carrie,
you.
I can't see you anymore.
There we
There
go.
you are.
Okay. All right. Somebody said that they got lost.
You're back.
Okay. All right. So I've already added my background quilting, and now I'm going to come down and I'm going to find my first block, which is this one right here. Okay. Now see how I've added my block on top of the quilting?
Mm-hmm.
Is that showing up on the screen good? Yeah. Okay. See how it is?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to repeat that, or is everybody okay with it? Everybody okay? Okay. So now you're ready to start your first block. Okay. If you're going to quilt your background fabric, you would do this probably just a little bit before I start showing you how to do the block. Okay. Because when we start the class next Friday, I'm just going to show you how to do the block. The background quilting should already be done, so we can just move on with the block. Okay. You don't want to do it too far in advance because you cannot take it out of your hoop. So if you do it too far in advance, you won't be able to use your hoop until we do the first block. Okay.
Are you going to show how to line it up?
Actually, with this one, you don't have to line it up. It lines up automatically.
So not like the boulevard.
Exactly. The boulevard, you did have to move it down some, but everybody is saying on this, you don't have to at all, that it does fall right where it needs to fall.
Great.
And let me show you something about the background fabric. When you fix your background fabric, what I want you to do is iron SF 101 to the background. And the piece is, I believe it was 6.5 by 10.5, and you need to iron it up 1 inch. Okay, and I'll show you why. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, now the stabilizer, you can use really whatever kind of stabilizer you want. I know it calls for like a lightweight mesh, or I like to use the cutaway. And I use the cutaway, I use heavy cutaway because I think it's more stable and it gives it stability. So, but if you want to use tearaway, and I wouldn't tear it away, I would just use tearaway and leave it in. Or if you got no show mesh or cutaway, really whatever you want to use is fine. Okay, the first thing you're going to do, I load the color of my background thread. Now, if you don't want it, I mean, if you wanted to show up, you could use light blue or whatever, but I'm going to use the navy, and you're going to put, the first thing is going to give you a placement line. I think the speed is really low on this machine. I might have to go in and speed it up.
Carrie,
Yes?
do we need to make the background fabric larger in case it shrinks when you quilt the background?
You do not, because the piece is already really oversized. The finished block on this, let me see. I think the finished block on this is 4.5 by 8.5. So the piece of fabric is 6.5 by 10 or whatever. So you've got plenty of fabric.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Then you're going to place, if you're going to quilt it, you're going to place your batting. And you're going then to do a batting tack down. After you do the batting tack down, you would actually take it out and trim the batting all the way around the stitching edge. Just for time's sake, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it, but that's what you would do next. And I don't know why, but it does go around it twice.
I was going to ask you that. I remember on the last one, it just kept, I mean, it's like it kept doing a tack down stitch and I couldn't figure out why.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's in there either, but it does.
Okay.
But when you do it this way, after we lay the fabric down and it gets tacked down and everything, when you get ready to do your block, we're going to skip the tack down stitches and everything for the block, because it'll be an already done it really for the batting and this piece of fabric.
Okay.
Okay, now the purpose of the 1 inch fold, you're going to line up this fold on the actual tack down. So you would actually just line that folded edge. Let's see if y'all can see it. You're actually just lining up the folded edge where the tack down stitch is, okay? And then you
So
just
it's
fold
not-
it back.
Is
Uh-huh.
there not a raw edge at the bottom now because it's folded up?
No, it is, you unfold it. Okay, and it's just where you made the crease for the fold is what you line up. Okay, see it like I had it folded up. I bring it down and line up the crease.
Okay.
You line up, see, it was folded under, and I've opened it up and just lined it up on the crease.
Okay.
Everybody got that?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just going to put it back in, and it's going to actually tack your fabric down. And while I'm thinking about it, we accidentally left out a brown piece of fabric on some of your kits. So whenever you can stop by, we've got the brown piece to add to your kit. The last few that purchased them, they did get the brown piece. So if you look in your kit and you don't have the brown piece, just come by and let us know. Okay.
Is it a
now
grunge? Is it a
I'm sorry.
grungy brown? Kind of a grunge brown?
Yes.
Okay,
And it would be the only brown piece in there.
got it.
Okay. Okay, now we've tacked that down. And it's actually going to do, I don't know why it does so many, but it's going to do another stitch, but it kind of leaves like a 1/4 inch going around now. Okay, and now you see it's time to do the background quilting. Okay, and while that's quilted, the background, I wanted to explain something to you. We put out a thread list, and the thread list came off the internet, what you would need for the main street. But after I got to looking at it, there was lots of colors you needed that wasn't on the thread list. So what I thought I would do is each week I will tell you what colors you need for the block for the following week. So today I will tell you the colors you're going to need for the first block. And if you've got something similar at home, you really don't need to use the exact number. You can use whatever you have at home because most of it's like browns and reds and blues. And most everybody has white and black. Most everybody has these colors. So I don't want you to feel like you've got to rush out and, try to get these exact numbers. Okay. I will give you the numbers of what I'm going to use. And if you want to write them down, you can. Does anybody have any questions?
The only question I have is on my background designs, I have it in millimeters rather than inches.
Your machine is in millimeters?
Yes.
You can change that on your machine to inches.
Okay.
If you'll go into like your settings,
Mm-hmm.
and normally it looks like a piece of paper. I'm not sure if you have that on your machine because I know it's not a baby lock, but you should have somewhere where you can go into your settings and change it from millimeters to inches,
Okay.
because I have no clue what 4x8 would be in millimeters.
I know I'm gonna have to Google it.
But it'd be so much easier for you if you would go ahead and change your setting to
Yes.
inches instead of millimeters.
Carrie, I've never done a Zoom class. Do we do this with you or just watch you and then do it on our own?
Now, actually, you can do it with me starting next week,
Okay,
and we'll go like one step at a time and see how it goes. And I kind of like wait for everybody to catch up to me and everything.
okay, great. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay,
Carrie,
now.
I have a question. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Are we going to be able to record this so we could go back and look at it?
We are recording it.
All right, good,
So you
Good.
will, they
Thank
will be able
you.
to go back and look at it.
good.
Okay, now we've got the background quilted. Okay, the next thing on the screen is actually going to show your placement for your fabric, but we're going to skip that because we've already got our fabric down. And they're doing a tack down. We're going to skip that. Okay, we're ready to start the block. The first thing we'd be doing is the tree. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm just going to pull this off. And I actually had a spool of white open, and I'm just going to start the tree on this just to show y'all. Now, if you don't want to quilt the background, you don't have to. You can just put the SF-101 on your backing fabric, and then you would basically start here with just doing your block. So see how it's going to work?
Mhm.
It's really pretty easy. All right, I'm going to stop
Says
this
the
real
expert.
quick. Okay. But see now, this is what it looks like. And you probably can't even tell it's quilted because I did the navy, but it is quilted. And then your stitching will just go right on top of your quilting. And then what happens, this tree comes down to right at the edge, and we'll go over trimming it. But when you trim the block, you just trim it 1/4 inch from the bottom. And I'll show you all this because it shows you how to use the orange pop rulers and how to trim to make perfect blocks. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions on how to quilt the background or where you get your designs? No questions. Okay. So let me tell you what you need for next week. Next week, you are going to need your background fabric to be cut at 6.5 by 10.5 and to have the SF-101 iron to the back of it. And you need to have the quilting done before class. And if you're not going to quilt it, that's fine. Just have the SF-101 on the back of the fabric. You're going to need the green felt that's in your kit. You're going to need a 4x4 piece of the felt, and you're going to need the white glitter, a 2x2 piece, and you're going to need a 1.5 by 1.5 piece of the red. And for those that haven't done this before, the plastic actually peels off the glitter. So you need to make sure before you stitch it that you take the plastic off the glitter. So see, it looks like this. The plastic
Now-
comes off.
That's in the kit?
Yes, ma'am. It's in the
Okay.
In the
kit.
embellishments.
Yes,
Okay.
it's all
Thank
in the embellishment. The felt, the white glitter, and the red glitter is all in the embellishment. And it might be a big piece, and you just cut what you need. Okay. Now I'm going to go over the threads I'm going to be using next week. I'm going to be using number 1902. It is a red. So any red. I'm using 0504. It's a gold. I'm using 5944, which is a dark green. $8.53 is a brown. White, and this one is 010, but any white. I'm using a gray 145.
How light is that or dark is that?
What,
Is
the
it kind of a
gray?
medium?
Kind of a medium gray. It's going to be like for the bike pedals and like the handles, like any of the metallic on the bicycle. So whatever you're thinking metallic for the bicycle. And then a black, which is number 20. And then I am quilting mine in, let's see what this number is, 3444, which is like a navy blue. And that's, you pick whatever color you want to quilt the background in.
You do all the backgrounds in that one, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, is there any questions? I'm trying to think, John, am I forgetting anything? I think that's everything. And you do use a 6x10 hoop. I don't know if I said that. You do use a 6x10 hoop. And I think other than that, so when you start class next week, you want to have your background quilted if you want to quilt it, and you want to have your design loaded to your USB stick. And we'll be ready to start. So anybody got any questions? You can call me at home or call me at the shop if you have any questions. Okay?
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
bye-bye. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.